After months of rising tensions, on April 15, 2023, heavy gunfire and explosions erupted across Khartoum, a city home to nearly 10 million people. Shots were heard around key locations including the Army headquarters, the Ministry of Defense, the Presidential Palace, and Khartoum International Airport. The airport itself became a graveyard of aircraft, with at least 49 planes destroyed that day and more than 70 buildings on the airport grounds heavily damaged, including the runway, infrastructure, and terminal structures. According to the United Nations, nearly 14 million people have been displaced by the conflict. The roots of this crisis trace back to the 2018 to 2019 popular uprising in which Sudanese civilians revolted after 30 years of rule under Omar Hassan al-Bashir, driven by hyperinflation, food shortages, political pressure, and repression. In April 2019, the military, specifically the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, removed Bashir and established the Transitional Military Council, TMC. During the transitional period between 2019 and 2021, a fragile power-sharing arrangement emerged through the Sovereign Council, led by Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the SAF commander, and Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, Hemedti, the leader of the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, alongside civilian leadership including Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok. Their stated aim was to guide the country toward democratic elections within 3 years. However, a second coup occurred in October 2021, when Burhan and Hemedti jointly removed the civilian government, suspended the constitution, and dissolved the power-sharing agreement. Civilian protests erupted again, and soon distrust and rivalry grew between Burhan and Hemedti, each viewing himself as the dominant force in Sudan. The direct clash between SAF and RSF began after disputes over integrating the RSF into the National Army. On April 15, 2023, full-scale war broke out in Khartoum and quickly spread across the country. By 2023 to 2025, the fighting had engulfed Darfur, Kordofan, and Jazeera. The RSF captured major cities in the west and center, including El Fasher, Wad Madani, Zalingiai, and Jenin, while the SAF held control in the north and east, including Port Sudan, Atbara, and Dongola. More than 10 million people became displaced, and famine and disease struck Darfur and Khartoum. Today, Sudan is effectively split between two powers, the SAF in the east and north, operating from Port Sudan after RSF forces captured the capital 10 days earlier, and the RSF controlling most of the west and central regions including Darfur and Jazeera. Since April 15, 2023, until October 28, 2025, more than 15,177 attacks have been documented, an average of 24 attacks per day. SAF carried out about 50% of these attacks, 7,500, RSF 38%, 5,291, and the remaining 12%, 2,386, were linked to other groups including Darfuri tribal militias, the Sudan People's Liberation Movement, North, Twig tribal forces, and others. These attacks involved armed clashes, airstrikes and drone strikes, shelling, property destruction, and explosions. Khartoum was the center of the war with 5,519 recorded attacks, 49% of the national total, affecting streets, residential areas, and the airport, which is now under the control of the National Army. Jazeera, the country's key agricultural state south of Khartoum, recorded 1,485 attacks, 13%. RSF forces expanded aggressively into the region, capturing Wad Madani on December 18, 2023, a major strategic victory, as the city is Sudan's second largest and lies at the heart of the historic Jazeera agricultural scheme. In North Darfur, especially in El Fasher, intense battles continued from the start of the war until RSF forces seized the city, leading to mass displacement, the collapse of infrastructure, and reports of massacres, including the killing of 5,000 civilians. Khartoum witnessed deadly clashes between May 30 and June 4, 2023, with the Kasab displacement camp hit hard. Tawila also saw repeated RSF assaults and large-scale displacement. A total of 1,388 attacks, 12% of the national count, occurred in North Darfur alone. In Central Darfur, Zelinghi fell into conflict on October 31, 2023, triggering more displacement. Kadugli in South Kordofan was drawn into the war between June and July 2023 and remains under military rule by SAF, while RSF controls nearby areas and SPLMN maintains positions in the south. Northern Kordofan recorded 463 attacks, 3.5%. Across the rest of Sudan, 26% of the conflict occurred, including 511 attacks in South Darfur, 5%, and 310 in West Darfur, 3%. At least 211,973 people have been reported killed nationwide, though real numbers are likely far higher due to indirect deaths from disease, starvation, and lack of healthcare. Nearly half of all recorded deaths occurred in Khartoum and North Darfur. Displacement figures show Khartoum with 3.9 million displaced, 31%, South Darfur with 2,082,537, 18%, and North Darfur with 1,844,175, 16%. The main destinations for internally displaced people include South Darfur, 1,837,706, North Darfur, 1,786,909, and the River Nile State, 935,723. Since the fall of Bashir in 2019, regional powers, Egypt, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Israel, have heavily influenced Sudan, each pursuing its own interests. Their support for rival factions has deepened the conflict and prolonged instability. The UAE, which built close ties with Ahmedi, views him as essential to its regional strategy and has supported him financially, politically, and militarily. The UAE seeks to eliminate remnants of Sudan's former Islamist regime, secure strategic access to the Red Sea, and strengthen agricultural investments, including a $6 billion port project signed in December. Reports indicate that Libya's Khalifa Haftar, a key UAE ally, has supplied RSF with fuel, weapons,